Rev up your engines!
Santi says my 2022 Bronco Sport makes a low noise at low RPMs and low speeds. It started when I had it about 800 miles. Didn't make it originally. Car is 4,500 miles now. I've been trying to take it to the dealership, but they're booked until July. Now, to me, that's hilarious. Your car is under warranty. You bought the car from them. Oh, we can't sit till July. We're doctors now. We take appointments 6 months ahead of time. Well, the problem is, all the Bronco Sports, right? They're all made in Mexico with the 3-cylinder turbo engine. Not the greatest idea in the planet, right? And they're notorious for having noises. But if you're around Rhode Island now or Tennessee in the summer, feel free to bring it to me and I'll tell you what's going on with it. I won't have to say, oh, you gotta wait until July, 2.5 months from now to make an appointment with us because we're such busy people. Hey, come on now. They sold you the car. It's under warranty. They should be forced to look at the car now. Not, oh, well, we're busy until July, What a bunch of nonsense these people are. They turn into a bunch of greedy pigs. They sell you something at an extremely inflated price. I'm sure you paid a lot of money for that vehicle. And instead of saying, gee, we're so sorry it's making a noise, and it started when you only had 800 miles, they're like, well, we can't see it until July. This is stuff like a Jaguar dealer would do, or a Ferrari dealer, not a Ford dealer. It just shows you, Times are the changing, and they're not changed for the better. Broncos made in Mexico. Now, you should have got a Ford Bronco instead of a Ford Bronco Sport, because the Sports are made in Mexico. The Broncos are still made in Michigan, where the original Broncos, which were pretty well made, were made. You made a mistake getting the Sport instead of getting the regular. The regular ones I checked out were nice. But the Sports, like I say, they're all made in Mexico. When you see what those people are getting paid, some of the workers in those factories are getting paid like $7 a day. Not $7 an hour. $7 a day. That's why they moved them down there. And that's probably one of the reasons the quality isn't so high. Well, if you don't trust used car dealers, you'd probably trust online car dealers even less. The online car dealer Vroom has all kinds of problems with people. People in Louisville, Kentucky are furious with one. This guy, Larry Martin, tried it out. He bought a car. He traded his car in. He got his car and he's driving around, but guess what? They never paid him for the car he traded in. They told him, don't worry, you'll get a check in 3 to 4 business days for your car that you traded in. Well, now it's 3 months later and he's still waiting for the check for the car he traded in. And this is $23,000. This isn't like $500. 23 grand. They still haven't paid him. Now the car he traded in is on Vroom's website, listed for sale, same VIN number, right? They're selling it, but they didn't pay him yet. Maybe they're waiting to sell it. I don't know. Let's face it. You're dealing with these corporations. Once they have your money, or in the case of the other guy, your car and not paid for it, they don't really care. Try to get a hold of people in these giant corporations, it is. It's just like absurdity trying to deal with these corporations. And of course, here's the statement from Vroom. The typical corporate baloney, right? We regret any customer not having a positive experience Vroom strives to deliver. 3 months, they still hadn't paid him the 23 grand, right? I mean, unbelievable. Now, the only help these people said they got were from the Kentucky's Attorney General that said, we're giving Vroom 30 days. Well, you got to get the Attorney General of your state to help you out. My advice is say, Vroom. Stay away from Vroom. Go someplace else to buy a car. That's what people don't understand. The bigger something gets, the bigger pain it's going to be going through the bureaucracy. Buy a used car. Buy it from your neighbor. Don't buy it from some corporation. You end up talking to somebody in India in a call center. Tuck says, is my mechanic stupid? A Chrysler Sebring versus a Toyota Sienna. I got an 07 Sebring with a horrible 2.7 liter V6 with 57,000 miles. It doesn't run great, it burns oil, transmission shifts hard. I know an elderly couple looking to sell their Toyota Sienna 06 with 63,000 miles. I asked my mechanic and he said, it's not a good idea to buy an old car, even if it's a Toyota. Yes, your mechanic is an idiot. 63,000 miles on a Sienna. It's not even broken in yet. I've seen those things with 360 and they're still running fine, right? Your mechanic is a moron. He's telling you not to get rid of that stupid Chrysler pile of junk. You know why? I can tell you why. Because he thinks, I'm going to make a lot of money fixing this stupid Chrysler Sebring with that horrible V6, one of the worst engines ever made in the history of mankind, to buying, oh no, they're going to buy this Toyota Sienna van with only 63,000. I'll never see them again. It won't won't break, and I won't make any money. The guy is either stupid or probably he's just a crook. He wants to make money off of you. He doesn't want you to buy a vehicle that isn't going to break down, that'll run forever. 63,000 miles on a Sienna van. And to top it all off, it's an elderly couple. So you know they weren't driving it like some crazy teenage kids drinking and riding down the road, going crazy, flying over the curbs. It's like the perfect van to buy. I would say buy the van and ditch your mechanic. Find another mechanic, one who is either smarter or isn't as crooked and wants to get money from you fixing that stupid Sebring pile of junk. Yara says, I want to change the radiator in my car. It's leaking. I got a 2015 Yaris. What should I change besides the radiator? Well, I would change the radiator and I would change the thermostat. The thermostat doesn't cost that much money. There's only 2 bolts taken in. Take it out, get the thermostat in the gasket, put a new one in, and then once you're done changing it, put in new coolant and use that Toyota pink coolant. It lasts the longest. You don't have to buy it at the Toyota dealer. You can get it at auto parts stores. Everybody sells it now, and it's the best coolant. Make it last the longest. And when it comes to radiators, you don't have to go to Toyota and buy a $500-600 radiator. The aftermarket ones are fine. Now they're made in China, yeah, but I bought hundreds of them over the years, and I never got one that was bad. They all work because it's simplicity itself. The modern radiators are made out of plastic tank top bottom, and aluminum cores. And machines make them. The plastic and the aluminum is put in, and the machine just crimps them on. So they're crimped on. It's not like there's guys sitting there soldering. Back in the day, people were soldering by hand. Now they're crimped. Machines are machines. You know, it doesn't matter where the machines are. And the Chinese made it perfectly fine. I've been buying them, like I say, for years, decades. Mercedes came out with plastic radiators in their car. Even in the 80s, they had plastic radiators. They really went cheap. You know, expensive Mercedes, let's put plastic radiators in. It's cheaper to make, you know. Buy it, aftermarket one. You don't have to buy the expensive new one. There's probably no difference at all in it because they're all just made by machines that crimp them. They either work or they don't. I've never gotten a bad one no matter where I bought it from. Zach says, how long will my Civic run? 2012 Honda Civic Coupe. I just bought it for $4,500 with 155,000 miles. Well, the sky's the limit. I've seen some with 350 and they were still running okay. Just change the oil and filter regularly. I would use pure synthetic oil, and I would change it every 5. I wouldn't go 10 or even 8. I'd go 5. Oil's cheap, engines are expensive. I change the coolant once every 3-4 years. I change the transmission fluid every 40,000 miles. And baby it, you never know. They're well made. Probably the best transportation cars out there, if you want regular transportation cars to get from here to there, are the Civics and the Toyota Corolla. They can just run and run and run. If you change the oil regularly, keep the coolant clean, change the transmission fluid. I'm sure it's an automatic. 96% of Americans drive automatic, so it's probably not a standard. And you do want to change the fluid, and I would change it every 40,000-50,000 miles on it just because it's a Honda. And their transmissions need clean fluid. They're a little bit weaker than the transmissions that, say, Toyota makes. But it could last a really long time if you take care of it. And somebody doesn't smash into it. I mean, I get customers all the time. Great cars, then somebody runs a red light and destroys their car. And then they got to get another car because some idiot ran a red light and destroyed their car. So Jen 111 says, can a low oil pressure indicator blinking when coming to a halt be a problem? I got a Honda Fit. It's blinking. It means you got low oil pressure. 9 times out of 10 on a Honda, it's blinking because the oil pressure sending unit is bad. The oil pressure sending unit screws into the engine. It measures the oil pressure. There's a spring in it. When it gets below a certain pressure, it opens and then it starts warning you, right? Say that light's flashing, your car's sitting there running, and it isn't going clangety, 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 clang. It's got to be the oil pressure sending unit. Because if it's flashing because you really do have that low oil pressure, your engine's going to be clacking like mad because the oil pressure won't make oil get to the top of the engine. Top of the engine will start clanging away like somebody's clattering away. You'd hear all kinds of noise. Go get an oil pressure sending unit and put it on. You probably find that fixes it. But on the other hand, if it's making noise when it's on, turn it off. Don't drive it. It'll destroy the engine. Then you would need an oil pump or some kind of work done. But that's extremely rare on a Honda. I've never seen a Honda that needed an oil pump. They're so well made, and they're in the bottom of the engine, so they're soaked in oil the whole time, so they get lubrication. Odds are you just need oil pressure sending unit. They're extremely cheap. You can buy one yourself, change it yourself. It's not hard. Now, mechanics should charge hardly anything. It takes me 10 minutes to change one on a Honda. It's a nothing job. And that's probably what it is. The warning system is broken, not the engine itself. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.